Hello everyone, my name is Rachel Storm. I serve as the Arts and Culture Coordinator for the City of Urbana. This is our second Poet Laureate Showcase, and I'm loving that this is becoming an annual tradition. And the intention behind the event is that the Poet Laureate gets to showcase voices that she finds profound in our poetry scene. Storytellers, poets, spoken word artists, and I'm really excited that we're able to host this evening. If you don't follow along Urbana Arts and Culture, please do. We're always looking for more folks to get involved, and we are on every social media thing under the sun, including things like TikTok, which I am slowly learning. But please come find us if you don't already check out our events. The library is one of my favorite partner organization on a wide number of events that we do together. We have a lot of things coming up in the art scene. The summer is usually a time to kind of ramp up, and even after the pandemic, I'm really excited that we have a lot of things kind of unfolding and plenty that's being organized by our Poet Laureates. So please, if you're interested in more poetry events or getting involved in different ways, I'll reiterate this at the end of the night, but I encourage you to really get involved and follow Urbana Poet Laureate Ashanti Files on Facebook and get more information from us through our website as well. Without further ado, I actually would love to introduce our introducer of the evening, and it's Camille Files. Camille is an incoming freshman at Urbana High School, and she also has been in the Writers of Oya since its inception about 2.5 years ago. You heard a little bit about the Writers of Oya. If you're unfamiliar in the room, the Writers of Oya is a wonderful middle school and now high school girls writers program promoting spoken word, but also promoting poetry as a tool for healing, for self-preservation, for community engagement, for so many different things for each and every one of us. I'm delighted to have us all in a room together. Please join me in welcoming Camille Files.
So I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit overdressed. But, so good evening, everybody. My name is Camille Files. I use she, her pronouns, and welcome to the second Poet Laureate Showcase. This year's Poet Laureate has been a part of my life since I was born. She has always supported me and my siblings in our endeavors and always gave her all to make sure we got a good education, ethics, and always felt like we were loved. I remember when my mom used to come back from nursing school late at night looking so tired, but she always tucked us in. This kindness and compassion is what makes her an amazing leader and educator in the Writers of Oya, her job, and in the Poet Laureate position. She has done a great job thus far and will continue to give her all through this year and probably the next. I'm honored to introduce Ashanti Files, Urbana Poet Laureate.
Hey guys. She wouldn't let me read her speech. That was the first I've heard, so I'm super excited. Hello, welcome to the library. Thank you so much for getting out of the heat with me this Monday. I know sometimes we're all so busy after a Monday and we just want to go home and just have our tea and watch Netflix, so I appreciate it so much that you all are here. I have handpicked every single poet that will be performing today, and even the guitarist, because I feel like there's something special in all of you. And I hope that you accept the personal pieces that I put into each of your introductions, okay? There's been a few poets that I haven't heard speak yet, and I invited them because I just want to know what it's about. So let's get started. I am from a slam poetry spoken word scene, and we have a rule: always respect the poet, respect the mic. I'm going to ask that you silence your phones. I have a family. I know crazy things happen. If you need to take a call, you're more than welcome to do so, to leave. But these people are sharing their very souls with you, and I just pray and ask that you give them the respect they deserve. For our first poet. Yes, y'all listen to me. Hey! Okay. Our first poet tonight is Adeyinka Alasade. I hope I said that correctly. She has played a significant role in the popularization of the Chicago scene. As the undefeated Uptown Poetry Slam champion, she won the title 6 consecutive times before retiring, a record yet to be broken. Her performances have been reviewed in several journals and newspapers in the past, including the Wall Street Journal. The Chicago Tribune called her Chicago's highest priestess of dub poetry. She has been a keynote speaker for Alice Walker. She has read with Gwendolyn Brooks, Hakai Mari Huputu, I'm sorry, I know I butchered that, Sonia Sanchez, and Asakia Toure. Alasade served as poet in residence for the Associated Colleges of Midwestern Urban Studies program for 7 years before she conducted a successful poetry workshop of her own. She holds a Master's of Fine Arts in African Studies, just a Master's of Arts in African Studies, as well as a Master's of Science in Library and Information Science. I'd like to welcome Inca to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say thank you to Ashanti Files for inviting me to this wonderful event. Also, thank you to Rachel Storm. Just a correction, the poetry workshop was actually part of the residency program. It was over 7 years. Okay, so, all right. I always struggle with what to read, but I'm gonna go with this one. I call it The Messiah. If the Messiah is, if the Messiah is, if the Messiah, is a white man. If the Messiah, is a white man, and he's coming. If the Messiah, is a white man, and he's coming. It's Noam Chomsky, and he's here. But anyway, the Messiah is not a white man. It's Sheikh Anta Diop, and he died in 1986. I call this The Human Race is Wretched. I wrote it after a long period in which I had stopped writing poetry just because it seemed so difficult to sort of look at the injustices in the world and not see a whole lot of improvement. But then something happened, and at least I was able to express this. So I call it The Human Race is Wretched. And so it happened one day. I awoke and could no longer speak the language of my planet. Planet visionifics from where the poets of Esse Nitekrima come into being. This language, which spewed from water in my gut, got stuck between the bacteria of mundane propaganda and the vomit of my disgust, and so I snapped like any poet of Esse Nitekrima, and I lost too the ability to speak the host English. Each word ejaculated from my body like an item from a vending machine, from dusk till dawn. Each letter exhumed from my armpits like steam from water in a Chiricahua sweat, until I was an English-free zone. No English here, no English, under bloody motherfucking stand. And in stupid joy, I grabbed the headphones and a toothbrush, a jar of honey and a photograph of the Rock of Gibraltar. I do the ragamuffin to sacred Byzantine chants and the funky-fied Voss to Algerian pop, and 2 packets of clove cigarettes. Cough, beep, 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 At the tone, the time will be 2:35 and 30 seconds. At the tone, the time will be 2:39 and 45 seconds. Oops. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, click, dot, click, dot, click. Interference from a wannabe pawn. Someone, like I was saying, it was as if it was in a silent movie. Ladies and gentlemen, can I offer you a cup of gazpacho and a class in the funkified Vasa, this time in Wolof? Everybody say, Nanga Def. You see, because when the Christians came to Africa, we had the land and they had the Bible, and they asked us to close our eyes and pray. And we did, and when we opened them, we were in a soul-free zone, and it was cold, and it was the worst of times. Everybody read What to the Slave is Your 4th of July, starring Frederick Douglass. Beep, beep, At the tone, the time will be 5:05 and 10 seconds. Kindness won't kill you, but it'll sure give you a lot of worries. Abracadabra, 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 abracadabra. If I could speak Arabic, I'd say demolition to the slave raids in the southern Sudan. Viva Garang, I say Viva Garang. Set the people free, I say set the people free. Demolition to the taking of Abib in Mauritania. Waterbug saw dragonfly hitting Ladybug with a stick. Ladybug yelled as if she felt the blows 1,000-fold. Ladybug, why has dragonfly struck you? Asked Waterbug. Ladybug replied, because the bastard cannot bear to see one better than himself. Evening precedes morning and night becomes dawn. Give praises to the guardian of coincidencia oppositorium. Sing a simple song. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Everybody say, Amandla. It ain't over until the fat lady is in a size 12 and the children are home safe in the softness of wool and malto milk. Everybody say, can't we just all get along? Backwards. Along it all just we can. Things that make you go, na, 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 na. At the tone, the time will be, your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. Your call, temporum line, turn, us. Please stay on the line. Click, click, click. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to introduce to you Cielo Jones, who is currently one of the 3 curators of the weekly CU Haiku on the News Gazette. She reads and writes poetry with the Champaign-Urbana Poetry Group, and she is also a member of the Illinois State Poets Society. Her poems can be found in the books Crows on the Line and Distilled Lives 5. These books were published by the Champaign-Urbana Poetry Group and ISPS, respectively. Please welcome Cielo to the microphone.
Wow. I was shrunk to, that is a very tough act to follow. So please, we will rewind and start all over. And, just imagine I'm the first one. Okay. There was no theme, but I find this theme very, I don't know how. Anyway, I picked Offspring as a theme for my poems tonight. And the first poem I'm going to read is not mine, but I read this from The Poetry Pharmacy by William Sagart. He wrote in his book, No one tells you that when you become a parent, you are condemned to worry the rest of your life. And so this poem is his suggestion for this anxiety. The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair to the world grows on me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not task their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for the light. For a time, I rest in grace of the world, and am free.
Yes.
I have 5 kids. I have 5 children, and every time they step out my house, I know, same thing with you. You'll be like,
Yes.
and then you hear this boom, screeching car on the corner, and then crashing on somebody's yard, and oh my God. Although my son would be very far from that place, but I'm thinking, oh, that's my son?
Yeah.
Anyway, my next poem. So this poem, title and poem may not be connected, but I leave it to you. It's titled Diaspora. Birds in the sky don't stop for me. They flap their wings, then glide to sunrise, to sunset. In the sky, no stopping for borders. They go away when freeze arrives, when worms burrow deep, when grains and seeds are tucked in barns, when snow blankets the ground. They go away when buildings capture their meadows. Ledges become nest cradles, their young exposed to predators, often falling to their deaths. They leave for a better place, maybe. They'll find another, great spans of untouched meadows, where they lay their offspring safe. But I wonder, are the worms tasty enough to ignore the cries for home? This next poem is prompted by 2 events that happened about the same time. I had this beautiful nest in my backyard and blew eggs. And then they disappeared. And the same day I read this headline on the news, CBS News, that was May 11th, that reads, 5 children, including an infant, found abandoned near US-Mexico border in sweltering heat. So here's my poem with an epigraph from Aaron Brower's Thunder Came Tonight. Until with empty lungs, he quietly yields to a gentle rain. Title of my poem is Them 5. 1. They gather what they can, blue straw ribbons the robins find, dry grass, dry twigs they weave, comfortable crib they never leave. One by one they hatch, 5 featherless hatchlings, hungry batch. My newly tilled garden yields fat worms, tasty nourishment that not far from home. But their lives cut short by couple of crows, their hungry babes up on higher bough, spotted baby robins swoop still one, then back again for the others until none. Parent robins linger around, peck here and there without a sound. Nest lays empty, should I let it be? Maybe next time they'll get lucky. Maybe next time I will be wiser. I'll protect them from their attackers. 2. 5 little babes sit on the fields, hot, hungry, and tired. Just dumped on the ground, someone hoped they'd be found. 5 beautiful humans brought in like cargo. They want mama, they want home too. Alone, they're quiet, they do not cry. Lungs empty, all tears now dry. Stroke of luck, the farmer finds them. Are they really lucky or condemned to this horrible memory of abandonment for chance at life, chance for betterment? My heart swallows my brain. This anger I can't contain. But to whom should I direct it? It's humanity's greed, damn it. The helplessness is mine to suffer. I do not wish to be a bystander. It's not done. Sorry. 3. I, mother of 5, sigh for the birds. Not much I could have done. The prey and the predators gone. But for the girls, I scream. I call lightning, I call thunder. Cast your veins across skies and yonder. Protest this inhumanity. Roar through the valleys, through the mountains, through the borders. Then with empty lungs quietly yield to a gentle rain. Let the mothers know their babes are found, their new lives begin. And the last poem, the previous poem is a little bit intense, so I bring this last poem with kind of fun fantasy, but it's still in the offspring neighborhood. Last summer, I saw these tiny little eggs on my screen door, and I wondered what laid them there and what they're gonna hatch into. So, that's the prompt for this poem, Aliens on My Door. They landed quietly that night, not wanting to rouse the dog, not wanting a fight. Light years of travel exhausted all their might. This is the place, dear, whispered the male of the pair. He gently pried open the screen to my lair. The female of the two followed without a sound. She arranged the eggs on the screen one by one. Then she let out a sigh. It's done. They stood there side by side, wary of their future, the male and his bride. Quietly viewed their offspring one last time. Then they clicked their heels, the two of them at the same time. They departed more quietly than when they came. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Guys, don't be afraid of Paul. Paul loves you. So I don't know if you guys recognize this, but spoiler alert, all of our speakers are women of color. That was very intentional. I feel as though elevating the voices of women, particularly women of color, and giving them the courage, the hope to tell their truths is what's ultimately going to change society. So this is very important to me. So this next person is just wow. This is my role model. This is the mother of the community. She is the mother of storytelling, and she is a phenom. She oversees the Randolph Community Garden, for which she has won an Encore.org award, as well as a Star Award, and loves sugar frosted flakes. I present to you Mama Dawn.
Thank you. Thank everybody. Thanks for including me, and thanks for coming out. I was told 5 minutes, and I said, 5 minutes? I guess I better write something, because I don't have anything that short. I mean, if you know me, you know the 5 minutes is escape. You know? So, I got to thinking, and my mother came to mind. And so the title of my poem is, What Did You Do? What did you do? My mother's opening question at the onset of yet another conversation about my behavior. I listened carefully to hear on which of those words she had placed the most emphasis. What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? The question prompted by, who knew? Some curtain-peeping neighbor checking out the block during a commercial break. Long before the craze that had people asking, what would Jesus do, came into vogue, my mother could set my mind spinning down a recent memory thread. reviving conversations and actions from the previous hour, day, week, year. What did you do? Had one of the nuns from the school called? Had Sister Mary St. Helen finally decoded the message hidden in my last essay? Had she finally recognized the double meaning and the slang-clad sarcasm that I turned in response to her assignment for her creative writing class? What did you do? Did Miss Howard see me cross past her house in the back, down the alley? I wasn't supposed to go past that boundary, but she usually sat in her front window. Was this a random question posed to elicit a recitation about my day's whereabouts and doings with no correct answer? It didn't matter. I didn't know. I did know one thing. What do you mean? Was not the answer she wanted to hear. Do not answer me with a question. And begin your answer with I. I am asking about you. That question and its future-facing fraternal twin, what will you do, were bookends in one way or another to many conversations. Even conversations that I thought I had initiated. Complain about the Block Party Committee not having things for preteens. What have you done? What did you do? What will you do? Ask why someone didn't follow through with a planned activity. Mother asked, what did you do? Out, nowhere, and nothing were not answers either. You didn't need to go out to do nothing. And home was a much better destination than nowhere. As I grew, the question didn't change, but my understanding of it did. What did you do? Account for the time you spent. Not who saw me, but how I saw myself. Out, nowhere, and nothing were time wasters. Make the time you spent count. What did you do? Now the question is still the same. Those who ask it are different. It began with my daughter, Dawn Jr. What did you do in the olden days, Mommy? Just what olden days are you talking about? You know, when the Indians surrounded the wagons. I wasn't there, dear. But she had other questions. What did you do? The prevalence of film and tape and live streams and Twitter make that question more specific and more to the point. Archives, the internet, and libraries are filled with sound bites and photo ops waiting for the question-prompting anniversaries. What did you do? Pick a topic. What did you do in the pandemic? What did you do when the Capitol was attacked? What did you do when the voting world laws were changed? What did you do before water was traded as a commodity? What did you do when the air was clean? What did you do when women controlled their bodies? What did you do when there was time and a chance to make a difference, to do something different. What did you do? What will you answer? What will you do? Thank you.
This next person that I'd like to introduce is a local poet and upcycle artist. She published her first book of poetry, Eyes Wide Open, last year. She is the mother of 3 amazing children and has had her works displayed in the Spurlock Museum as well as the Credit Art Museum. She also now knows how much I love pancakes. Please give a warm welcome to my sister in love, Janelle Pleasure.
I just want to say, before I get started, thank you, Ashanti, thank you, Rachel. You guys are just amazing for pushing me out here, getting me to do my thing. So, yeah, give it up for them. They're amazing, absolutely. So this poem is called Today I Died. Today I died. I looked over at that casket and I kissed your forehead, knowing I would never see you again. I wept. I couldn't tell you how long I stood by your casket. It felt like an eternity. You see, you never opened your eyes, and your chest wasn't moving. Your face, it was damp and cold, and you didn't look peaceful. You looked more like you wanted to stay around a little longer, but you were forced out. I looked out into the crowd to see if I could find a sympathetic face, and none were to be found. Instead, I saw smiles and heard laughter. I saw people pointing and even clapping. What the hell is going on? I say, where's your respect for the dead? I scream, why are you clapping? I start crying and yelling and throwing flowers and swinging at the air. That is until you showed up. I could see the pain within your eyes and the faint smile across your lips. You gently put your hands on my shoulder and you pulled me closer to you. My subtle crying turned to sobbing and wailing, and you just held me without judgment, without words, until I disappeared and we were one. Your eyes flickered and the blindness subsided. Now I could see what everyone else saw. That shell in the casket was the old me, the me that was bitter and broken and angered by her circumstances. It was me. The old me that was so deeply rooted in her own despair, the one who drug others down with her to wallow in self-pity. That woman's skin was so withered and scaly, and she was bruised in the worst way imaginable. You do realize they weren't clapping because she was gone. They were clapping because you came to a place of peace about her. You grieved her. You let her go. I turned around to the embraces of so many people that have been waiting for me to emerge from my hollow shell. I began to sob, and within an instant I was held and loved on. I thought it was a dream, and that at any moment I would awaken. The crazy thing was, I wasn't physically asleep. I turned one last time to kiss the coffin as the pallbearers rolled the casket away. The doors opened, the light came through, and I breathed clean air for the first time. I took my future by the hand, and we walked out behind that casket with our head held high. As the past closed behind us, I knew I was bruised no more. A smile on my face broadened, and I strolled on. Thank you. Also, I just wanted to plug in here, I do have my book, Eyes Open, if you guys want to buy it. And it's on Amazon too, so. Okay, this next poem, and the last one I'm gonna do, Many people don't know this, but I used to be a competitive ballroom dancer, so I traveled all over the world doing dance, and dance is what I do, and I love it, and she gets me. And it's just something that it's a part of my being. And a couple of years ago, I had a stroke, and because of that stroke, I was not able to do it as much. And I tried to get back into it. I taught children how to do ballroom dance, you know, a thing that I love. And I just haven't gotten up to that speed. I've got the love in my heart still, but I haven't gotten up to this speed. So I started thinking about that, and I said, you know what, I can put that in a poem. So that's what I did. This is my love letter to dance. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. Woo, I'm gonna get it. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It's not warm when he's away. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. He's always gone too long. Anytime he goes away. I know, 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 I get it. Okay, on a serious note, Yeah, I was very sad. So dance, here's my love letter to you. We were formally introduced when I was just a little bitty thing. I loved following you around to the old cuts my daddy used to play. You would smile at me, encourage me to keep going. And sometimes I fell and I cried because it felt like I made the biggest mistake ever. But you just picked me right on back up and said, keep going. So I did. I got a little older and then started inviting more people to join us. And then you started to invite new friends as well. You introduced me to the Snake and the WAP, and they remained close to me. We would go round and round for hours until I threw up from all the excitement. You always made me feel so special. I always felt connected to you. Then something bad happened, and I felt lost. I didn't like the new music, and it was hard to keep up with you. I felt insecure and unsure of myself. Yet, you didn't falter in that. You just changed the styles on me. And I began to go internal with everything. So you brought over 2 new friends and told me to say hi. Their names were the Running Man and Roger Rabbit. But I was too shy to say hi back. But you didn't force them out. You forced me out of my comfort zone. You simply just encouraged me not to give up and to talk to them. I held on to you for support and you never let me go. I grew up and heard your voice amongst the tirades of mishaps and miscommunication and sadness. And you asked me if I'd be willing to try again, but maybe at a slower pace. This time, I agreed, and you introduced me to Lyrical. At first, I was terrified because Lyric, she was slow and careful in her approach. She wasn't like my bops and my jumps. You know, I wanted to study her a little closer, get to know her on a truly internal level. So I turned on whatever TV I could find, and I started watching people figure skate. To me, it was the closest thing to what Lyric was doing. So I tried to give it a go. Man, that first time she took me for a spin, I felt my entire soul lift off. Hella terrified, but exhilarated. She then added her music, and with each word, I felt each beat. I digested each movement, and it caused me to expel the pain that I felt couldn't release on my own. Lyric and I became best friends. Oh, not that you were not my best friend, but she and I connected in a way that let me feel like I was in this little bubble. I was gonna be okay, even though I wasn't okay. I did still have my bops and my jumps, yet I could just as easily sit down and relish in the simple side-to-side step or a twirl. I held on to her until I left for college. You know, we wrote every day, and I always did my best to stay in touch. Then one day while studying, I came across Ballroom. And man, when I tell you Ballroom, woo, was like a rushing wind. He just swooped me right on up. I felt powerless to his friendship, and I just had to say yes. Ballroom and I traveled the world together. Ballroom could have easily got me into trouble, but I was grounded in your friendship and lyrics, so I didn't get too crazy. Ballroom taught me about the human connection and love, and what love really could be like if I just peeked my head out for a little bit. Yeah, Ballroom was dangerous. Ballroom had so many friends, and I was just thrown into a completely different circle. Let's see, there was Cha-Cha. Woo, she was a wild one, boy. Then you had Jive. He was just flat out hyper. Paso Doble was very demanding, and I ain't like him too much. Roomba, now she was sweet, but she always seemed shifty to me. Samba, I always kept my eyes on her because she was always trying to pull me out of my shell. Viennese Waltz and her cousin Waltz always had me confused about whether I was coming or going. It was always round and round with those two. I could only take them in very small doses. Foxtrot, now Foxtrot, he was more my speed. He was chill and relaxed and never really rocked the boat. And then you have Tango. Help me, Jesus. Man, Tango was the one I could never be alone with, and Ballroom knew that, so he kept an eye out for me. I grew up with Ballroom and his crew for many years, but I never forgot about Lyric, or WAP, or Snake, or Roger Rabbit, or the Running Man. They all stayed very close to me. You all have been my backbone, the ones whom I couldn't do life without. You've seen me at my worst, you've cheered me on at my best, even when I thought no one was looking, and really, I found out everybody was looking. You had my back and I loved you for it. You know what else? I loved you to the point that I began to introduce you to the children that I bore. I watched as they took it all in, just as I had all those years ago. You guys held their hands and showed them the ropes, and they began to show you some of theirs. You were their newfound aunties and uncles. They introduced you to the dab and the nay-nay and whatever the orange crush is, the Carlton, the floss, and the list just goes on. I'm surprised that I can keep up with them. I mean, I'm not that old yet. You, however, were way older than me. But you know what? I'm so blessed to know you. I know you will continue to show me and my babies the long way after I leave this earth. Thank you for always being there for me. And like I said, I want you to be there when my time goes, so I can walk out of here hand in hand with all of you. I love you forever. Your girl, J Boogie. And that's it.
Well, this next speaker I met while employed as a school nurse, and what stood out to me the most about her was her kindness and her compassion. She's very soft and feminine, but so vivacious as well. And then when I heard how she was a poet, I was like, I knew something was up. All of these wonderful traits about her are reflected in her poetry. She just published her first book of poetry titled Summer Breeze, and I look forward to her book launch at the Urbana Free Library in the future. Please welcome Jasmine Somerville.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ashanti. I appreciate it. Thank you to you and to Rachel for inviting me and for thinking of me once again. I appreciate it. Okay, so as Ashanti mentioned, this is my book, Summer Breeze. So I'll be reading from that this evening. This first piece is called Calla Lily. It's my favorite flower. I beg of you, peer beneath the petals, see the rugged veins, speckled with gray and laced with red, eyebrow raised, jaundiced eye, highlighted and accented centerpiece. Pour out my succulent, separated leaves and perforated stem. Relinquish desires of curved expansion. Criticized and controlled, marginalized, for a life scarcely chosen, pressed into the bind of your book. Since my babies are here, I'm going to read the letter to my daughter, letter to my firstborn. Born of love and pure affection, an agent of change, beloved, sweet-souled, gentle, first of many, many firsts. Peace, free-spirited, leader, beautiful, magical, oh so powerful. You've shifted so many, you've had no clue. You have no clue how thankful I am for you. Desired, wanted, protected, loved beyond reason. A blessing you are mine. So, I'm a Champagne transplant. I'm originally from Chicago. This piece is called Sweet Home Chicago, and it will be my last piece. Sweet Home Chicago. There was a dark night in the White City. Magnificent mile of Chicago-style blood-stained sidewalks. Duty calls. Time to tour the stretched tax dollars used for metal beams and Ferris's spinning wheel. Melting pot of faces, bodies, flowers, and boats. Creating a freeze frame of relics of the City Beautiful movement. Plans published to combat negative images. A neoclassical powerhouse. Great Windy City. How I adore thee. Familiar places open to the public, deep dish secrets among the politicians. Corrupt superiority, broken communities. Forced out of homes to back the bids, failed attempts, false alarm, dead. Parks and pavilions erected for the naive children to produce the cognizant perceptions of fun-filled days. Gunned down, kidnapped. We're doing all we can. Rarely trusted, not revered, but feared. Chicago's finest, to serve and protect themselves. Invention of a pastime 16-inch football. Fun. Galleries, theaters, and museums, entertainment. Daily double leadership paved the way for a figure of historically acclaimed reconstruction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Okay, this next speaker I have had the pleasure with working with before for the first time, and I'm just like, oh, she's so dope. Like, she's who I wanted to be before life happened. She is a professor of sociology, African American studies, as well as social work at the University of Illinois. She received her PhD in human development and social policy from Northwestern University. She has numerous academic publications and is an avid poet. I learned of her work at a YWCA event called Stand Against Racism, and I stand in awe of her talent. We co-wrote a poem together for that campaign, and since then I've just been wanting to hear more of her voice. So performing tonight, please welcome Dr. Ruby Mendenhall.
Thank you so much, Ashanti, for inviting me to be here. She'll be back in a minute. And also, Rachel, thank you for putting this on. So I'll read three, two short and one a little longer. The first one is Wild Women Don't Have the Blues. Looking forward to my music. Okay. Okay. Wild women dance to the first bar of a song, swaying sensual hips and stretching their bodies tall and long. They catch the beat of the rat-a-tat-tat. Women admiring women, singing words, "We are all that." They smile at each other's beauty and return the warmth. Men observe, unsure when and where to enter these forms. Wild women tell them to taste the love and admire the mysterious sunrise, for their spirits are as free as black doves, black panthers, and black butterflies. Thank you. Now the second one, it really is a draft. I'm working through kind of all of the social unrest that's happening, and it's called Celebrating Black Humanity and Joy as Healing, and we hope to have an exhibit to go with this. But I was just trying to work out the emotions of all of this stuff that's happening. So, how can you heal when society is the knife that cuts to the white meat? You create bonds that bind and tend to all ages, from elders to babies in the community. How can you protect the mind from words that yell, "Give up," loudly and repeatedly? You write the words to your own song, your own life, and sing with power and sovereignty. What about the inner world or inner me of the soul as it strives for peace and serenity? Take by force, if need be, the space to create and expand your authentic interiority. For joy, in small or large amounts, summoned by traditional or radical gestures, heals, and decrees, that our mother's gardens were always beds of beauty, genius, and creativity, that our father's gardens held constant plots of prettiness, brilliance, and sensitivity. How does everyone know joy in the body, mind, soul, and society? The answer to that lies in the third reconstruction and renaissance that sets all of us free.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, for the final poem, I'm going to invite my sister Ashanti here to perform it with me. And this is the poem. It's funny, when I had the first title, it was this long title, and she's like, you can tell you're a college professor. And I appreciated that. So we called it From Racism to Renaissance. And we love the music too. Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about racism as a public health crisis. The systems are stacked against us like a game of dice is.
Higher education and lower education say we don't belong. We walk weary and run tired of this 400-year American song.
Babies need milk. What else can they eat? Where are the living wage jobs out here in these streets? Racial lines are not blurred or hazy. Well, who can we call when we're traumatized on the daily?
We call for justice as the world gazes on this repeated inhumanity. We uncover our scars and heal fresh wounds when safe with our family. They know the rhythm of sorrow flowing from a wounded belly. They know why the cage bird flies through wires, dying to be free.
But who do we turn to when our backs are against the wall, waiting for prescription medicine prices to fall like the golden parachutes did for the super rich?
Who do we turn to transform these metals into golden lives? Like all great alchemists, we call on the ancestors and ourselves to design and build what we require. We plant and craft the new as old systems of oppression are stamped expired.
Elections are every so often, but what problems can they solve when the Jim Crow voter suppression laws keeps them mutating and revolving like a door?
A door that appears to be open but shut like a coffin, snatching the air from our lungs until we only breathe cotton. Collectively, we cry out for the ancestors to shield and soften the brutal blows of U.S. racism so all names are said and never forgotten.
My race is public health. My lack of wealth is immeasurable and felt every time my heart beats too fast or welts rise on my skin from the allergies within this country who says racism is a thing of the past.
Pollutes our lives from the first breath to our last. It tries to flatline our genius, but we are super stealth. Our labor and beings contain knowledge sought on bookshelves, beautifully coloring the world black, brown, and bronze, sculpting an equity phoenix whose ashes ignite the Renaissance.
Whose ashes ignite the Renaissance.
Whose ashes ignite the Renaissance. Thank you.
Okay, so this next person I have worked with for the past year. She is a mentor of individuals struggling with addiction and mental health. She is a spoken word poet, a mother, and a very close colleague. Please welcome Sandrea, and let's celebrate her as she just completed her certified drug abuse counselor test. So I'm really proud of her.
I'm not good at intros. I just thank you for the opportunity to be here. I am freedom in its rarest form. I can't be what you want me to be. I've tried. Maybe that doesn't resonate enough.
Say it again, girl.
Should I?
Yeah.
Should I say it with more
Say it
soul? Should I sing it?
Go for it.
Maybe I am freedom in the rarest form.
There you go.
And freedom lie. I can't be what you want me to be. I have tried. I can't be what you want me to be. I have tried, but I am freedom in the rarest form, and freedom lie.
All right.
I can't fit in your cookie cutter shapes. I can't fit in your little box that tells me when to sit and when to stand and what to say and how to say it. I can't. I've tried. I tried to be the perfect little individual in society that runs the perfect way and never makes a mistake, but I can't. I can't remain tied to your strings. I just finally broke those chains. I can't be what you want me to be. I'm not perfect. I was made fearfully. Fearfully, wonderfully made, tatted with mercy and grace. And it's not just a physical thing. I can't be what you want me to be. I looked at myself in the mirror and it wasn't me that I could see. It was the person who was supposed to be my teacher telling me, stand tall. It was my mother saying, don't go. Or it was the government saying, be like so, follow like so. I can't fit into your ethical codes or your professional boundaries, because when it comes down to me, I do what my spirit says, and sometimes it doesn't resonate with the sounds that are coming from your voice. When you tell me I should make a certain type of choice, but that was your choice. I can't be the perfect white civilized person in complete, utter confusion and not seeing what's going on with the world, with our jails and institutions. I can't be bulletproof, and I definitely can't sit and not heed truths. I can't do it. So I'm LGBTQ. I'm BLM and a Christian.
Yes.
How's that work? So that's my first piece.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's the best I can do to give you an intro to myself. That's not written, it's just me, right? That's my intro. And because I am activist for LGBTQ, for BLM, and for those who are homeless, who suffer from addictions and trauma, I feel I should give you something of that caliber. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Should I do witness or heritage?
Heritage.
I knew she would say that. All right. Let me ask you something. Under the Freedom of Information Act, why is it that African Americans don't have free access to their ancestry? I mean, I get why it isn't free for me, because I've spent years with my foot up the butt of the American dream.
Yes.
Sure, I've lived through hard times. I've seen a couple hard crimes, but even in poverty, I never struggled to eat. Matter of fact, I never had to question whether or not I was free. I have never had to question the reality that I could be a banker, CEO, or even a government official. And I came from a place rampant with sexual crimes, drug abuse, and addiction. domestic violence, and addiction. Here's my conviction. People say, how you doing today? I used to be like, I'm blessed. But now I address it for what it is. I say, I am privileged. Privileged because I've literally never had to fear a cop shooting me. I've never had to take personal training on how to prove I'm civilized when I'm forced with prejudice. I've never felt the sting of being robbed of my heritage. They say home is where you make it. And I guess that statement never filled me with pain because I've never been a victim of gentrification. I've never been denied a good education. Not by my race, my color, creed, or location. And I've never dealt with no sideways stuff like people twisting my pain and gaslighting my experiences with statements like, that's reverse racism. I have never had to rely on a witness. I have never had to rely on public outcry after a witness recorded me dying with a knee to my throat for over 9 minutes. You know, I've never been pulled over in an all-black neighborhood for looking suspicious. And yes, I've been in an all-black neighborhood. Did you know out the whole chicken, Africans were given the gizzards and the chitlins? You see, they took American waste and created traditions. And I know my godmama used to serve them every Thanksgiving and every Christmas. Blame the ancestors. But we're more than the sum of our intentions. See, failure to act is negligence. Why are we so afraid of the systems? What are we afraid they're gonna do? Lynch us?
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Why are we uncomfortable with the weight of that inheritance? Are we okay with this being viewed as our heritage? Black lives do matter.
Thank you, Sandrea. She's really special to me. I told you all that all of our speakers today were women of color, and Sandrea is my wild card. We need our allies, and she is not afraid to speak, to proclaim her privilege, and to get in the trenches, and that's what's up. Okay. We're coming towards the end of our program. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to invite Shaya Robinson, although I know her by a different name, Chocolate Star. She is a staple within our community. She works at Cunningham Township and has a group of teens that she also mentors in poetry in Rantoul communities. She is the facilitator of Speak Cafe at the Cranard Art Museum and is publishing a graphic novel whose art you can see upstairs in collaboration with Stacey Robinson, titled Stargazer. Please welcome Chocolate Star.
I saw Miss Ashanti last night and she requested that I do this poem, Stargazers, and actually this poem is actually about dark girls and me experiencing kind of what it was like growing up. You know, I'm kind of old, growing up in the 90s as a brown-skinned girl. There was a time where I didn't feel loved and didn't feel encouraged, and I didn't see myself in the media. And I was actually in a club when I wrote this, standing in the corner being a weird artist like I am, and this poem just hit me. So this one is called Dark Girl. As I sit in this dark room full of people, it is loud with music and talking and happiness. It's full of vibrant wonder and hope. And here I am. At times I feel at most alone. I pick at every little piece of me. Dark girl, nobody loves you. They will never feel the warmth of your spirit. They see your pain, but they do not care. I pick apart the most beautiful pieces of me. I pick until the scabs don't feel like anything. I pick until the blood starts to pour out like my heart pours out to be loved. I pick until the skin is no longer just a memory of her skin I thought I began to love. It's just as far away as the time that I hated it. When I decide to feel every piece of pain, I dig so deep that I almost forget that I am just a human with skin and bones and blood and love. I forget that I am human, screaming out in silence, screaming into a blank space where my heart once felt so many things, screaming to be heard with no voice and no soul and no mind and no kindness left. The alone feeling starts to feel so warm, warmth like the warmth of always coming back to this familiar space, warmth like I belong right here in this very place, feeling unloved and unwanted and right where I belong. Time begins to move, but these scabs do not heal, and these wounds do not feel better, and this heart still feels unwanted. How do I fix me? How do I rebuild these scabs to be tougher skin? Skin that I've never felt before, stronger than I've ever felt before. How do I become the healed version of these unhealed wounds? The tougher I want to be, the more I pick at these scabs, weakening me to just above a slow heartbeat. A heartbeat that doesn't want to feel and doesn't want to beat and doesn't want to be. How do I beg this heart to beat and these scabs to heal? And how do I not feel so alone? This beating of a weak heart is beating at such an uncomfortable rhythm. This rhythm is off. This heartbeat is off. This soul is turned off. Dark girl, nobody loves you. They will never feel the warmth of your spirit. They see your pain, but they do not care. These words echo through and festers in this mind and creates this very somber feeling. These words are pain. This feeling is pain. This heart feels pain. Every time these words visit, they are like an unwanted house guest that makes themselves at home. At home in a space where they don't belong. At a space where these words make these scabs unhealed. And this heart unloved. And this heartbeat so slow. At home like these voices screaming inside my head for so long, yelling you are unbeautiful and unwanted and undeserving of real love. You are no more than just a dark girl wanting to feel things at a time she shouldn't want to. Dark girl, nobody loves you. They will never feel the warmth of your spirit. They see your pain, but they do not care. I am somewhere between a beaming light whose energy affects those around and the darkness that consumes everything. It's these scabs and these words and these feelings that don't want me to shine. I am deserving and loved and wanted, but these hurtful words make me feel powerless. These demons inside my head make me feel like I am not the purest version of God, just a mere mortal begging to be what she already is. I am a light. I am of light. I am the light. Dark girl, somebody loves you. They will feel the warmth of your spirit. They see your pain, and they do care. Thank you. And then I will do one more. I'll try to get this one out of the way. I know we're running a little behind, but I like to do this one as well because I like to remind people how magical they are. This one is called Magic. So this poem starts out like, you be magic. See, you be magic. That melanin you possess is worth more money than gold, baby. You be blessed with luck. The way your hair stretches up to the heavens as if it's reaching for God, you be heavenly. That's the kind of magic only you can possess through God, body, and inherently. You be spiritual. Drum the beats of our ancestors, that ish be so lyrical. Coming up with rhymes that stretch the imagination and be ill with the flow. Baby, there is something about your swag. It make you glow. You be magic. You be walking like your feet is kissing the Mother Earth. The way you create melodies in your walk, don't forget what you're worth. Dancing like you got music in your gut. We not even gonna get into the magic of that big old juicy, y'all know what. You be out of this planet.
Talking that slick talk makes me think you're enchanted. So magic that white folks try to steal your culture, your swag, your color, your ideas. I could go on and on. You be so magic that they don't even know how to interact with you, so they want you gone. Alien from another planet, baby, you possess the cosmos in every fiber of your being. Do y'all know what I be up here seeing? Dark skin magic, brown skin magic, light skin magic, baby, you are the rainbow. You be magic, but that goes without saying though. Peace and positive vibrations, thank you.
Okay, so this is my life story. So I was just like a lonely little writer, and I'm like, I'm gonna write a book, and I'm like, I need a place to host this book launch, and I meet Rachel, of course, and if you've ever met Rachel, you've met everybody you ever need to know. And so Rachel's like, oh yeah, by the way, you should apply for this arts grant, and I'm like, I don't want an arts grant, and I actually won. And so I host a group called the Writers of Oya, and I asked two of them to come speak today. We're going to start with Denyla Nash. And Denyla, I'd like you to do 2 pieces. And then Ezra, her sister, is going to come and do 2 pieces as well before I speak. So, welcome, ladies.
The first one is called My Truth, and basically it's just me saying I don't know what I'm doing. So, okay. I can't tell you the last time I've written about myself, my truth, my reason. I ignore it all to write about the world's issues because Lord knows it has millions of them. I ignore it all because once it's written, it's real, and I'm not ready for it to be real. So I scream, Black Lives Matter, women rights are human rights, and love is love, so I can shadow over what I really want to say. Help me. This world is burning and I'm falling with it. School is beating me until I cannot breathe. My truth, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm writing about the world's problems because I can't deal with my own. I just want to scream. I believe in everything I've said, but my voice has been pried from me by the cold hands of society. This blade to my wrist just reflects the pain and vulnerability on the inside that I cannot show on the outside. What's my truth? I don't know who I am. I shake and shiver at the thought of showing emotion. I can't stand the past. The future scares me senseless, but the present is hell. My truth? I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Not yet.
Yeah.
My next one is called My Hoodie, and it's basically just me hiding in my hoodie. So, okay. All night I'm up. Toss, turn, sit up, repeat. My hoodie sleeve is my self-defense. It dries my tears in a hurry so no one can see the nights I've been crying. I smile with a smile, and it hides even the subtle hint of pain that I may be hiding. It holds a new smell, so a person of who I once loved fades away faster. The hood on my hoodie is my nonverbal cue to go away. I'm angry at the world. I'm angry at the people in it, and I'm angry because this grade won't go up. I'm angry because no one sticks around for me, but my hoodie hides it. I'm fine, go away. No, I'm not. But that's okay, because my hoodie covers my lies, my pain, my emotion. My hoodie is my shield. My hoodies are my walls. But now, I can't get out. Maybe that's for the better. Until I can, I'll stay under my hoodie with my sleeves over my hands.
Yeah.
And since I got some time to fill, I was told to talk about what the program is. There's not much to say other than it's really just been revolutionary, to be honest, because I didn't really know the power behind just a few words or even taking a few minutes, seconds out of the day just to sit down and if you can't express it in words or you can't express it to a person because people let you down because they do that, if you can't put it into words that you can, like now, if you just can't put it the way you want to, paper, it's not gonna lie to you. Paper isn't gonna say, yeah, I'm here for you, and then leave. It's just, you can't lie to yourself on paper. And if you do, then you're looking at it and you're like, wow, I just lied to myself, man. And it's like, it makes you feel that regret that people don't. Because it's like, if you did me wrong, I'm not going to regret lying to you. What you mean? But with you, it's just yourself. So you can't hide nothing from yourself because you already know what you're hiding. So with poetry, there's really no other way to say it than when people let you down, there's always a pencil and paper.
Yes. I love my angry girl. And people hear me call her angry girl and they're like, you're perpetuating a stereotype. And I say, absolutely not. This child is angry and she has every reason in the world to be. So I encourage her to use that anger. Next come her sister. She goes by Ezra and she's one of the newest members of the Writers of Oya.
I'm gonna start with a shorter one. It's called Shorty Wanna Be a Thug. It's just based off some experiences I went through with my older brother. Shorty wanna be a thug. Slinging the drugs you ain't never heard of, 2 for 15. Shorty wanna be a thug. He know an eighth is $35, a zip 115, but he can't seem to get his fractions practiced. Shorty wanna be a thug. He can't seem to see he got his life right in front of him, but he gotta eat right. He gotta do what he gotta do to feed his family, to eat, to live, scraping scraps from the system that trapped him.
Wow.
This next one is called Phoenix. I was beaten and broken until I fell down. Then I rose up and shook the ground. Like a phoenix, I got fire in my soul. No, I won't let go. Resistance, resilience, revolution. I am the phoenix. We are the phoenix. Together, our fire will burn brighter than the futures we will create. A fire like never seen before, burning down patriarchy and social construct, assembling sentence out of ash, breathing life into existence, making nothing into everything, because we are the phoenix, we are the new generation, and we are life.
Thank you guys so much for your time today. I want to say this before I do my poetry because I tend to scurry away after I speak. Thank you, Carol, so much. Thank you for hosting the Writers of Oya book launch. Their book, Unmasked, is available in this library. These are some phenomenal young women, and they have stories to tell, and they're not afraid to tell them anymore. So I hope that by you guys being here today, you see this legacy of women, and you can be a professor, and you can be a mom, because there's power in that. You can be a gardener, and you can be along the greats, like with me and Nikki Giovanni, and you can still be you. So I just wanted to get that out. I wanted to thank Rachel. Like I said, once you know Rachel, you pretty much know everybody in the CU that you need to know. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I want to thank my husband, Ryan. He hates it when I thank him publicly. But I am going to thank him. I've been Poet Laureate for 6 months now, and whenever I was really, really nervous or insecure, he'd be like, hey, Poet Laureate. I'll be, the Poet Laureate! So I wrote this one today, and it's called I'm the Poet Laureate. I tell myself that I am not sophisticated. My kids give me the best pedicures. I love to use the stories of what I've endured to encourage others to speak. I tell myself that I am not a warrior, and my fight is that of peace to keep between foes. I tell myself that I can be a better wife and mother, even when the uncomfortable throes of depression threaten to overpower me. I tell myself that I am brave, even though I struggle with anxiety. I tell others to love themselves, even as I disdain to look in the mirror and stay properly medicated to make that glass look a little bit clearer. I am not a role model that impersonates perfection, but I am the realist about my mistakes. I love to speak about societal oppression. My voice makes you listen. It invites you with its tone, yet I hope my words linger in your heart like those of past kings we've known. I am not famous. I am friendly and familiar, charismatic and kind. almost all of my poetry rhymes. And I'm the Urbana Poet Laureate. So I got two pieces for you, and this is my angry voice, all right? This is why I love my girl Denyla, because she get it, we some angry people. And this is called Carpe Diem. For my younger people in the audience, Carpe Diem is YOLO before YOLO, okay? It means seize the day. Okay, so this is Carpe Diem. The phrase is Carpe Diem, but you see, Chadwick Boseman is dead. It was of natural causes, which is much more than can be said about Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland. You see, when I think of it, my stomach clams up into a tight little ball and I spit up bile for the imaginary promises and America's guile to call this nation free. Barbed wire was around the White House, and we had a president whose mediocrity was praised by the uninformed and depended upon by the 1%. Black children dying daily, and our nation's money is spent on a space force. But let's talk about the race force of white men who treat us like the most dangerous game, killing us so frequently it puts Poe's work to shame, so please say her name. I'm so damn tired of another report of another gunfire taking the life of a suspect. We Black Americans are treated worse than King George's subjects, yet you reject that it's our time for a revolution. You reject that our lives matter the same. You reject our right to bear arms, and you reject that this time we ain't playing by the same rules as activists have in the past. We will not be moved, and we refuse to kiss the ass of the Democrats who lie. Hey, they haven't earned our vote. Clinton is known for how Monica choked on a family-friendly event, and we choking on the Democrats' complacency, choking on Republican rage, choking on the fact that our Facebook page sparks the outcry of another Black death. And just like the plague, you better hold your breath and you better don your mask, but please don't close your eyes, because you see, Mama Maya told you that again I will rise, and we will rise in anger. We will rise in pain. We will rise and refuse to fall. So say her goddamn name. Carpe Diem. I wrote this one for Don Blackman, and I cried when I performed it in front of a lot of important people.
I love that.
But this is to Mama Dawn. It's called Our Stories. Who will tell our stories? Who will remember us? As we age, our bodies become brittle, and at death we return to the dust, and like the dust we are scattered on the whims of the wind. So who will tell our stories once this minuscule life ends? Who will tell our stories of victories and those of defeat, of the struggle to combat racism, to fight the nation's highest seats? Who's gonna tell our stories of triumph and of ancestral gain, of the sound of feet marching in unison as we shouted to say her name, as we kneeled despite the traffic for 9 minutes on a scorching street, demanding that the police break the habit of killing Black men without missing a single beat? Who will listen to our stories, history and superstitions woven together, about God's unending glory and Black skin flocking like birds of a feather? Will the children value our stories, passed down from mother to son, passed down from father to daughter, experience all sewn together as one? Who will record our stories? Who will visit our long, dry bones? Who is going to recall our struggle when our voices are long gone? Who will lead and strengthen our movement? Is it time for us to train up the youth? Is it time to accept their voices instead of dismissing their very fragile truths? Who will be our next mother? Who will feed us from her very heart? Who will raise us with her very soul? Who will praise us for our art? I rise to the challenge. I will sit with the youth. I will listen to the elderly. And then I am gonna school the rest of you. I will weave our stories together, build old traditions mixed with new, so that we never lose our stories. And that way we will never lose a piece of each of you. I'm gonna end with an angry piece, and then Rachel can do the pleasantries, because I'm terrible at that. I love to perform this piece, and it's titled, What is Beauty? What is beautiful? Is it a dream? Can it be anything or only human beings? What is beautiful? Is it a place? One where its past is not a disgrace, where people are gifted beyond a race and privilege is not clearly written on your face? Is beauty only blonde hair and blue eyes, or does it count if your skin is kissed by the sunrise? And by what standards do we judge beauty? My braids, my twists, my kinky hair, and things very seldom considered fair. Is beauty a kimono woven from the finest silk? Or the ageless pyramids the Egyptians built? Is beauty the wind blowing gently through the trees, or an ancient poem from the Ming Dynasty? Am I beautiful? I have been bricked and torn, personality woven from bitter strands of scorn, body bruised and skin severely scarred. But those wounds only minor compared to those upon my heart. Can beauty be written on the tablets of time, or in a mathematical equation that equals prime? What is beauty? Black men died day by day for an idea that Trump took away? Oh, 3 Americans died today, but the number of black deaths they failed to say. Can beauty be stolen? Can it be denied? Taken away by the stripping of one's pride? Told that what you are is composed of waste. Pain is the only thing given to you with haste. The demonization of the African queen broken down to a female who only wants to bling bling. Kings murdered and sold into the night to create unwed fathers too afraid to unite. A native land stolen by impending founders who claim that God gave them such power. Our land is broken and stripped of ecological diversity. Children are dying in mines to boost the economy. We are crossing the border to escape, to flee, to work for low wages in a factory. Is this beauty? The destruction, the shame to which so many are to blame, the skyscrapers and bridges all shot out in pain, the pain of the worker who died to stake their claim. Surviving for months across the sea to finally reach America and shall give us free. Can't you see? Can't you see? Is America free? Are its vast blue skies a tablet of beauty? What is beauty? Is it the struggle, the shame, whips on your back because you refuse to take a name, working for hours under a California sun, women being raped by a Don's grandson, traveling from Europe to escape a dictator, but if you had slanted eyes, you was thrown in camps like a traitor? Is that beauty? Is that even free? All the people of America unite with me. What is beauty? Let's define her name with the slanted eyes and the long blonde mane, with the wisdom of the Native Americans, with the dances and songs from the Caribbean, with the perseverance of the African soul, with the human struggle for which we all have known. That is beauty. Thank you.